Hi, this is Shelley Kraft, and we're coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the AdvaMed 2011, the MedTech Conference. We're in Washington, D.C. I have Mr. Victor Merced from the Puerto Rican Industrial Development Company, direct from Puerto Rico, one of my favorite places to go and lounge around. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Merced, how are you? Welcome to SNNLive.
Good morning, sir. It's very good for us to know that you go to lounge, but Puerto Rico is more than just lounging. Puerto Rico is also known because of our big pharmaceutical and medical device install base. We manufacture 10 of the top 15 medical devices in the world, plus 13
I actually knew that. No, go ahead.
And we also manufacture 13 of the top 20 drugs used in the U.S. So we're also a manufacturing powerhouse in the life sciences sector.
I know that to be a fact. And I know that it's not a new thing. I know it's an old industry in the country because a lot of the United States-based pharmaceutical companies went and did manufacturing in Puerto Rico years ago. So this is nothing new. I'm sure this isn't your first AdvaMed conference either.
No, it's not. It's actually my third as a PRIDCO employee. I used to be in the private sector before, but that is our main business in Puerto Rico. Actually, this industry represents 43% of our GDP. If I usually make a trivia question of how much is our GDP in tourism, it's less than a 5. This is our real economy. You know, actually making the drugs that heal the world. And not only is US-based companies, but we also have European-based companies in Puerto Rico.
Well, you have these amazing facilities that are ISO and FDA approved, and it's like, you know, the economy obviously depends on it, but so does the United States drug industry.
Exactly. Actually, you know, we've been actually a little bit hurt with the way the economy goes. It's the first time I've been in this industry for 28 years, and it's the first time that this industry got hit by the economic downturn. If you remember back in the 80s, it was also another recession. It didn't hurt us because we were actually pretty much in this industry. But this time was different. This time, the depleting pipelines, the increased drug pressures for lower prices on the drugs actually affected our market. And I couldn't say that the drug industry had left Puerto Rico. What has happened is that this industry is having a very different affair called consolidation. And that consolidation, because we're so heavily loaded on these manufacturing facilities, when a company buys one another, we end up with several facilities and we have over capacity. But right now, Puerto Rico, just imagine, medical devices in Puerto Rico is growing at a 5% rate from last year. If we look at the last 10 years, it grew 8%. That alone, you know, it's a symbol of growth in the medical device. Although we actually stopped the bleeding in pharmaceutical. We are actually now...
That's a good one. I like that.
And one of the things is we started to see some growth in the pharmaceutical industry, which caters to our message that actually Puerto Rico does it better.
Well, it's also a credit that, you know, your delegation, so to speak, that, you know, your delegation is coming here, obviously, to find new business. What do you think the level of interest is as you see that, you know, is it turning up? Is it flat? You know, you can give me some good insight.
Yeah, I call this missionary work. You know, we have, you know, this industry, although their decisions are very fast once the device or the drugs is approved, but it's missionary work because you have to compete with every single part of the world for this industry. All of a sudden, the world discovered what we've been doing for 68 years. You know, go over and look for outside investors to bring jobs to the Puerto Ricans. So other countries like Singapore, like Ireland, learned our model and started applying it. So we have a little bit more competition around the world. Right now I'm seeing competition from Eastern Europe countries and countries that I never thought was going to be in this industry, such as India and China.
But let's face facts. American companies want to have their local to them. Puerto Rico is local.
Exactly.
There's something to be said for the logistics of being able to take a 2-hour flight, a hop, skip, and a jump from Miami to be in your manufacturing facility. And let me tell you, that it's a lot different than a 27-hour flight.
Oh, I've heard this before. And let me tell you something, it's not only that. I would say our two greatest advantages is, number one is our IP protection. It's US IP. You know, just imagine if you go over and try to bootleg a movie in a movie theater in Puerto Rico, and let me tell you, they're very much liked because we have subtitles in Spanish. You're going to have nice big trucks waiting for you on the outside called FBI, and they're going to put you right in jail. That's how hard we are on IP protection. And that is something that is, let me tell you, is the key element in the industry. The other part is exactly that. We have the largest FDA office outside of mainland US. It's located in Puerto Rico. One of the things is with the FDA is we are only one of 4 locations in the US that has every kind of life sciences sector in one place. Just imagine 3,500 square miles, you have medical device, pharmaceutical biotechnology, and ag bio in one place.
And not only that, but let's say a small company starts out in Puerto Rico, they can expand and continue and grow their expansion into more production because you have the facilities, and unfortunately you have overcapacity to handle the expansion. But normally speaking, you could take a small company and they can grow with you in Puerto Rico.
That's our charter. The Puerto Rico Industrial Development Company, what it does, we help not only the small companies, but every company that wants to make business in Puerto Rico and give jobs to the Puerto Ricans. We have a very unique tax package. I would say one of our key things is, number one, a very, very fair tax rate. That the industry is taxed at a 4% on the income, and the rest is going to be on the repatriation in whichever country they decide to repatriate. And another key is that we are actually focusing on innovation. I'll make this very clear. I cannot compete. We are not anymore a low-cost jurisdiction. I leave that to the other countries. I am not like that anymore. We are a high technology, high knowledge, very regulated industry. So because of that, I have to look for innovation. So we have enabled certain measures within the laws, and one of them is I would say the most beneficial tax credit for R&D activities, I would say, in the world.
That's good information. Now, you ready?
Yeah.
What's your website? I'm going to keep these questions really difficult now.
Okay. It's www.pridco.com.
Spell it.
It's www.pridco.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Merced with a few words about Puerto Rico. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.